we are moving on to the next part. It's about the challenge. It seems like two of our members already started this challenge. So let me start with the introduction. So a couple of months ago, I was advised to read a book, The Милый друг Bellamy. It's a book about some French guy, and I was advised that it would be useful for me to read this book. So I've started to read this book. I've downloaded like a couple of the variants, but when I was reading it like in Ukrainian or Russian, it just didn't go well. So it was like, I just can't absorb this information. So I've decided to try to read it in French. And when I opened this book in French and was reading in French as he was working through the streets of the Paris and some park in the Paris and stuff like this, it was like so different. So atmosphere of reading something in our language and reading something in French, it was like so different. It's like two different books. So I've decided to read it in French, but my level of French is not really good. So I have never read any book in French. So my level is like not great. I can read something with the dictionary, but that's all. But anyway, I've decided to start. And in order to make it easier, I was looking for some means, some applications that would help it to make it easier. And I found the application that's called Linga application, Linga. And by the single tap on the word, you get the translation. So you don't know the word, you just tap and you get the translation. If you tapped all of the words and you still don't know what is there, then you can translate the whole sentence at once. And this application, it uses like different translation engines. It uses the Google Translate, it uses the DeepL and so on. So translation is really good. So if you compare to some Kindle, so Kindle just translate the word, and here it translate the word using the context. So it shows the proper way. So it was like really great. And I was reading this, I was starting reading this, but at first the speed was really slow. So I was reading like 13 words per minute, and it took me like 1 hour just read to three pages. So 3 pages for 1 hour. It was like really slow and really painful. I looked like I had to translate almost every word. And the book has like 250 pages, and it was like really painful that no matter what page you open, it's always like 30 to 50 words that you don't know. But anyway, I was like going through this challenge, and for main part of the words, I was just getting the translation and moving on, only for some like really interesting words, and that I was really impressed by these words. I was reading the examples of usage, I was reading the etymology, I was reading the explanation of these words, and so I was going like this. Like I was reading for 2 hours the whole month, so it took me like 60 hours to complete the book. And in the end of this reading, my speed increased to 60 words per minute. It's like four times more than on the beginning of the reading. And once I completed the book, I opened a few of the lyrics of my favorite French songs, and it was like so different. So I recall like a lot of words from this book. I see them in the song, and then in general the understanding like increased so much. And when I open some news in French, it's like now it's different. I can read the news, even though I don't know much words. I just can just double click and translate the word and move on. So I feel like this month, like my level of French like was increased so much. And so here's the challenge for us. It's like the reading challenge, and few of us have already started this challenge. And let me share my screen and show you the table that I have prepared for you. Okay, so do you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So the idea is the following. It's like 40 days of reading, or 10 hours of reading, like 15 minutes every day. Just read it and see what's going to happen in the end. So we will start from tomorrow. It's like from 20th, or after tomorrow, from 20th of February. So we'll have like a few days for preparation, and we will read for 40 days until the end of the March. So the 1st of April is going to be the end of the challenge, when we're going to have the call and going to have the summary about this. So here's the information. I will share this with you. So application, it's called Linga. I'm not sure how to read it properly. But anyway, so there's the application for Android and iOS as well. And there are a few rules. Choose the book that you really want to read. So we had tried to read some Ilya Frank book in the beginning, but actually the one downside that they're like not funny book. You have to select something like that's really resonates to you. For example, I always wanted to read the book from Arthur Conan Doyle, The Lost World. It was my favorite book, and I decided to reread it in English. So it was one of the books that I have completed in English. So you have to select something that's really resonates to you. Then 15 minutes a day, that's not much, but that's what you can what can make you started. And also you can skip the days, because I feel like if you have to do this every day, it might be like too much pressure. So just skip the days if you want. Then no pressure. The goal is to get pleasure. So if you read something it's like not going well, just give up. You can just skip some pages or some sentences. Let's just don't try like to understand everything. Just if you understand like 50% and it's fine, you can go to the next page. Then don't get stuck on the words. So one of the approaches of the reading translation, then you write down all the words that you don't know, then you find out the translation, and then you learn of these words, and then you just move to the next page, and you're reading really slow, and it's like so painful. That's not what we want. We want to read as fast as we possible. Just don't get focused on some single words. Just go on. When you see this word later, you can just translate it once again. So some of the words I was translated like 15 times, like to the end of the book, and it was not well. But anyway, so in the process of multiple translation, you will get through this. And that's rule number 5. But still, if you really enjoy some words, you can get the translation, you can write them down, you can do whatever they want. So there is no any limitation for great words. And anyway, so and in general, there is no any limitations for the reading. And that's the table that we're going to use as some like to check our results. So as I mentioned that at first my reading speed on French was 13 words per minute, and in the end it was like 60 words per minute. So this application shows you your reading speed. And also let's have some tests. So that's the test I've shared with you before. And here's my scores. So the idea is the following. We do this test right now, then 40 days or 10 hours of reading, and we do this test once again, and we see if we have any difference, if we have any progress and any improvement. And here you have to just mark down, so how many minutes have you spent and what's your current reading speed. So that's the challenge. And also, like, you don't have to make the decision right now if you want to participate. You just have your time, you have to feel it from inside. So if something like is imposed on you externally, it's like you have like nobody likes when they are pushed. So it has to be from the inside. So that's the challenge, and you have to wait it until you want to participate in it from inside. So that's it. And what I'm going to read, I'm going to reread the book that I read like 8 years ago. My first book in English, it's The Game by Neil Strauss. It's about the adventure of some American guys and about their development. And what's interesting that like in the middle of the book, they visited Odessa. So like I was really surprised that they were in Odessa in this book. And also one more thing about this book, that you can Google all of these characters and you can find their photos and you can find their videos and so on. So that's interesting. That's the first book. And the second book I want to read is the Harry Potter and Methods of Rationality. It's the fun fiction about the rational thinking, and it's like really huge. So I was reading it like for 2 months, and it contains like 1,500 pages. So that's my challenge, to read this book in English and to see the results. So that's the challenge. And guys, do you have some if you will have some difficulties with the application of if you want to read it on your laptop because you don't have like big screen, so just ping me. I will show you like the other useful and convenient ways to read the book. So, and if you want to read some book and you cannot find it in English or any other foreign language that you want to read, just ping me. I will help you to find this book in electronic form. So yeah, that's it. So guys, do you have some questions?
I have a question. The free version of Lingo, I can see there the speed of the reading.
You can see. Okay, so we can just mark down the speed of reading like with pages. You can just see that you started on page number 2 and finished page number 5. It's like 3 pages. We can just put like some pages and so on. So like it doesn't matter what units do we use. We can just see the difference like in the beginning and in the end.
Or you can actually time yourself. Just put on the phone the timer, see how much you read. Stop. It's you do it once anyway. You do it once for the beginning for the sake of the experiment.
Yeah, just
and
like
then you'll do it once again in the end.
Okay.
Just read for 5 minutes and calculate the words. Yep. Like read for 5 minutes, calculate the words, and then in the end, read for 5 minutes, calculate the number of words. Yep. Yeah,
that's what I meant. But
yep.
I mean, it's not necessary, obviously, as you said, but just for the sake.
I think for 1 minute, read for 1 minute and calculate the words. It can be easier.
Yeah. I think it's probably
I need Lingo for Kindle.
More stable. It will show the more stable result. But anyway, I think it's like it doesn't really matter the way of the execution, but we'll discuss it. We'll discuss some proper way. Probably read for 1 minute and count the words. That's great. Okay, so
does Lingo have Romanian language? Because it's not interesting for me to read in English. I read in English for last few years.
Looks like no, but we will check it. And also, if you want to read this on your laptop, there's the other great methods. I will share like the other methods a bit later. I will record like some small video on the other way to read it. So probably you can use it as well. Okay, so thank you for this, and we'll continue in chat, and we'll start like in 2 days. And also, if you have some friends that
can you stop sharing the screen so we can see other people?
So stop share. Yep. So guys, if you have some friends that wants to participate this, we can have like separate chat for this challenge, and we can like invite other people to join us as well. So if you feel like there's someone that's will make the benefits from this, we can just ping them and just invite them to our challenge.